When Queen Fabiola of the Belgians died on December 5th, 2014, she left behind no children, no direct heirs, and, according to the Belgian royal court, almost nothing for her Spanish family. Every possession she owned had been willed to a charity she had founded herself. So, where exactly did Queen Fabiola's most famous jewellery go? Before we get to the jewels, we need to understand the woman who wore them, because Queen Fabiola's story is one of the most quietly remarkable in 20th century royal history. She was born Doña Fabiola Fernanda María de las Victorias, Antonia Adelaida de Mora y Aragon on the 11th of June 1928 in Madrid. Her father was the 4th Marquis of Casariera. Spanish nobility, but not royalty. Before she became a queen, she worked as a nurse. King Baudouin of the Belgians had been a bachelor monarch for 9 years. Friends and advisors within the Catholic Church worked to find him a match. In 1960, he met Fabiola, and by all accounts, they fell genuinely in love. They married on December 15th, 1960, in Brussels. The couple had no children. Fabiola suffered 5 miscarriages, which she spoke about publicly only once, in 2008. You know, I myself lost 5 children. You learn something from that experience. But you know, in the end, I think life is beautiful. King Baudouin died suddenly of a heart attack on July 31st, 1993, aged 62. He was succeeded by his younger brother, King Albert II. Queen Fabiola moved to the chateau of Stuyvenberg and quietly stepped back from public life, so as not to overshadow the new Queen Paola. She lived there until her death on December 5th, 2014, aged 86, and was buried alongside King Baudouin in the crypt of the Church of Our Lady of Laeken. This is the woman behind the jewels. Now let's look at the tiaras. Only one tiara in the Belgian royal collection is reserved strictly for the wife of the reigning king. It has passed from queen to queen without exception, and Queen Fabiola wore it on the most important day of her life. The 9 Provinces tiara was created in 1926 by André van Bever, a Belgian jeweller, as a wedding gift from the Belgian people to Princess Astrid of Sweden on her marriage to the future King Leopold III of Belgium. Its diamonds were Antwerp-cut stones from Belgium's colony of the Congo. An Art Deco meander bandeau base is topped with 11 large round diamonds, representing the royal house, the 9 Belgian provinces, and the Congo, totaling approximately 100 carats. The base alone can be worn as a bandeau, a choker necklace, or a bracelet. The interlocking diamond arches that crown the full tiara were Queen Astrid's own addition, made in 1934 after she became queen, transforming the original spiked diadem into the soaring architectural jewel it is today. She did not wear it long. Astrid died in a car crash in 1935, aged only 29. Belgium was devastated. The tiara went into the vault. When King Baudouin married Fabiola in December 1960, she chose the 9 Provinces tiara as her bridal diadem, a deeply meaningful gesture. She was the only woman ever to wear it on her wedding day, because she's the only woman who has ever married a reigning king of the Belgians. By choosing it, she paid silent tribute to Queen Astrid, the mother-in-law she never met. She wore the tiara throughout her 33 years as queen. In the full version for the grandest occasions, and in the bandeau setting for lesser events, including the Belgian state visit to Japan in 1964 and the British state visit to Belgium in 1966. When King Baudouin died in 1993, the tiara passed to Queen Paola, wife of King Albert II. When King Albert abdicated in 2013, it passed again to Queen Mathilde, wife of King Philippe. Where is it now? Queen Mathilde wears the 9 provinces tiara today. She chose the full version for the 10th anniversary official portraits of her reign in 2023, having worn only the bandeau for her first formal portraits as Queen in 2013. The full tiara on the 10th anniversary was a quiet statement of settled authority. The tiara that began as a wedding gift in 1926 continues to do exactly what it was made to do: crown the Queen of the Belgians. Now we come to the tiara that is most uniquely, most personally Fabiola's, and the one whose current whereabouts remain, to this day, the greatest mystery in the Belgian royal collection. On December 5th, 1960, which also happened to be Fabiola's 32nd birthday, she received this tiara at her family palace in Madrid. It was presented by Doña Carmen Polo, the wife of General Francisco Franco, on behalf of the Spanish people. Press cameras captured the moment. Fabiola beamed over the tiara in its fitted case. Newspapers described it as a crown of gold, studded with emeralds, diamonds, and pearls. The Spanish Wedding Gift Tiara, also known as the ducal crown, was almost certainly inspired by the ducal coronets worn by Spanish aristocrats. It features 8 florets representing acanthus leaves, interspersed with round pearls, set in gold. At the centre of each floret sits an interchangeable coloured gemstone. The tiara was originally presented with emerald and ruby settings, with aquamarines added later, meaning the same piece could appear in 3 entirely different colour configurations. Its versatility went further still. The entire construction could be reconfigured as a full coronet, a wreath-style tiara, or a necklace. A second, simpler base was provided using 7 of the 8 florets in a lighter arrangement. Individual florets could also be detached and worn as brooches, or suspended from her diamond sautoir necklace as pendant drops, creating grand jewelled combinations she wore at some of the most prestigious royal occasions of the century. Despite newspaper speculation at the time, Fabiola did not wear the Spanish tiara for her wedding. She chose the 9 provinces tiara for the ceremony and wore the Spanish gift for 2 pre-wedding gala events instead. She returned to it throughout her queenship and crucially continued wearing it into her widowhood. After King Baudouin's death in 1993, most of her grander pieces disappeared from public view. But the Spanish wedding gift tiara remained. It was the only grand tiara she wore consistently in her later years. It was her most personal piece, the gift from her own country, and she held it close until the end. Where is it now? The Spanish Wedding Gift Tiara has not been seen publicly since Queen Fabiola's death in December 2014. Fabiola had quietly distributed key pieces to family members before she died. And many royal observers believe the tiara passed privately to Queen Mathilde, since numerous other Fabiola pieces have since appeared on Mathilde at public events. But Mathilde has not worn it, and the palace has made no statement confirming its location. The most famous tiara of Queen Fabiola's personal collection remains officially unaccounted for. Wherever it is waiting. Not every great tiara is built on a grand scale. Some of the most elegant pieces in any royal collection are the ones that work quietly, adaptable, understated, and far more dazzling up close than they appear from a distance. The Wolfers tiara is exactly that kind of piece. It was given to Queen Fabiola in December 1960, the same month as her wedding, as a gift on behalf of the brokers and jewellers of the diamond industry in Antwerp. The piece was crafted for the occasion by Wolfers, a Belgian jewellery company that had been producing fine jewellery for more than a century. Wolfers designed the tiara as a convertible piece. It can be worn as a formal diadem or detached and worn as a necklace, making it one of the most practically versatile pieces in the Belgian royal collection. Despite its small physical scale, it contains more than 200 diamonds packed into a design that is dense with sparkle. As a tiara, it sat somewhat modestly in Fabiola's voluminous bouffant hairstyle. As a necklace, worn flat and close to the collarbone, it provided brilliant, concentrated light at any formal event. Fabiola wore the Wolfers tiara regularly throughout her queenship, sometimes in its diadem form and sometimes as a necklace, frequently paired with the larger Spanish Wedding Gift Tiara or the 9 Provinces tiara worn simultaneously. After King Baudouin's death in 1993, like most of her grander pieces, it was worn rarely, if at all. Where is it now? The Wolfers tiara is one of the pieces whose journey after Fabiola's death is confirmed. In October 2015, less than a year after Fabiola's passing, Queen Mathilde of the Belgians wore it publicly for the first time during an official visit to Poland. The appearance confirmed what royal observers had suspected. Fabiola had privately given the Wolfers tiara to Mathilde before her death, ensuring it stayed within the active royal collection rather than passing to the charity. It has since become one of Mathilde's regular pieces, worn in both its tiara and necklace configurations for state banquets and formal events. A gift from Belgium's diamond industry, made by a Belgian jeweller, worn by the Queen of the Belgians. It has found exactly the right home. The reason these questions of where is it now are so fascinating is that Queen Fabiola's will created one of the most unusual inheritance situations in modern royal history. Shortly after Fabiola's death, in December 2014, it was announced that she had donated all of her possessions to the Hulpfonds van de Koningin, a charity she had founded after becoming Belgium's queen consort. The items included in the inheritance were letters of King Baudouin, furniture and pieces of jewellery. The aid fund had the authority to decide to auction items, transfer them to the use of the Belgian royal family, or keep them in a vault. Queen Fabiola died on December 5, 2014, after a widowhood of 21 years. The couple had no children, and Queen Fabiola had willed all her possessions to the charity aid fund of the Queen, which helps Belgians in need. Her Spanish nephews and nieces received nothing, a decision that surprised and upset her family. One nephew, speaking anonymously to the Spanish newspaper El Mundo, said the family was surprised to learn that all assets would go to charity, adding, "It is not fair." But what the will did not account for, because it could not, was the jewellery Fabiola had quietly given away while she was still alive. She had privately distributed some of her jewellery to family members before her death. The Wolfers tiara, confirmed on Queen Mathilde's head in 2015, the diamond and pearl drop earrings and the diamond and ruby bracelet, both now worn regularly by Mathilde. The circle earrings, which appeared on Princess Margaretha of Belgium even before Fabiola's death. Queen Fabiola gave her jewellery not to her blood family in Spain and not to a public auction. She gave it to the women who would continue to wear it. To the queens of the country she had made her own. Queen Fabiola arrived in Belgium in 1960 as a Spanish aristocrat who had never expected to be a queen. She left it in 2014, having given away everything she owned to a charity she built with her own hands, and to the women she trusted to carry her jewels forward. Fabiola's jewellery story is not finished. It is simply waiting for the next chapter. If this video gave you something new, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these pieces do you think will appear next? if you want more deep dives into royal jewellery, the queens behind the collections, and the hidden stories that most people never hear. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell. We are here every week. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.